Hey friends, what's up? Everyone loves to flex the Platinum Card perks with American Express. But ask any card holder and, well, they'll tell you the Saks credit is the hardest one to actually use. But I've got some tips that'll actually change that to convert you from someone who's really not getting the most value out of their card to someone who certainly can. So let's get into what that means. Hey, I'm Philip with Points of Philip, and I am here to help you get value from your credit cards and your points and miles. So that's what we're going to get into today. Before we do, I want to ask you guys to like and subscribe. Doing that helps me and YouTube know that what I'm doing is helpful for people like you. And in turn, by doing that, it helps more people to view the content, something I really would appreciate. So thanks so much for being here. Now, let's get into that Saks credit and why it's so difficult to use. So first of all, this is broken up into two different sections for each year. Now it totals $100, and this is present on the personal platinum card. And so you actually have to have the platinum card, and you have to enroll in this credit in order to be able to use it. But you get $50 every 6 months, so from January through June, and then from July through December to use at Saks. Now you can also do this. You can do this in person at Saks Fifth Avenue, or you can do it at Saks.com. Now, the one workaround that people have been able to do in the past is get a Saks gift card. Now, you actually have to go into a physical location and then purchase a $50 gift card. However, it does seem like they've kind of limited that availability. So it seems like that's kind of a less reliable way to bank this value. Now, the other thing you can do is you can go to Saks.com to actually just shop online. You don't actually have to go to a physical Saks store. The only problem here is you don't get free shipping unless you spend, I think it's like $200 or something on a purchase. So you're not getting that full $50 value if you shop online. Now, the other problem with Saks is that they make it really hard. So a lot of things that they have at Saks are ridiculously expensive. And so you kind of have to sort through some things and well, we can actually target some sales. So let's go ahead and get into that right now. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to take a look. So right now there's a current coupon of getting 25% off one full price item. So you have to use a particular code at checkout, and that's what we're going to get into. So I'm going to shop at men's. Now you can take a look at some of the differences and some of the problems. So if we wanted to have these Joe jeans, these guy rib knit polo sweater shirt for $440. You could also, if you're slumming it, you could get this Adidas shirt for $280. You could also slum it and get this white t-shirt that's been graffitied on for $145. And oh, there's some jeans with some holes in it for $188. So you can see that this one's going to be a little bit harder to get value from, but we can do it. So what we're going to do is so it looks like, so we can get 25% off any single item with that code, but we're going to start looking at some other kind of bigger options. So we can take a look at jewelry. We can take a look at shoes, dresses, clothing. We can see new, but we're also going to take a look at sales. So there's a whole a whole tab of things that are on sale. Now, if you want to get your Balenciaga 10XL sneakers, they're on sale, down from $1,300 to $779. So that it's a deal, but I wouldn't call it something worth considering, unless of course you're just really into Balenciaga. But there we go. Now, this is where we get into interesting things. So not only do they have kitchen supplies things, but they also have them on sale somewhat regularly. And so this can be pretty interesting, and that's kind of the biggest thing. In fact, you can see that this one in particular, it is on sale for $69 to $59. So this is a Zwilling brand for fresh and safe glass airtight food storage containers. So what I'm actually going to do is we're going to Google this, and we're going to see how much we can get. So from Zwilling, so let's see what, oh look, so there it is on Amazon. So we're going to take a look here. And so this is a 7-piece. Let's take a look. What is this one? So this is, it appears to be a 6-piece if you're counting the, counting the lids. So I would say, let's see. Okay, so I would say 7-piece, so maybe 3-piece. Okay, so here it is. So this is actually specifically $49 at on Amazon. So if you have Amazon Prime, you can get free shipping, or you can buy it on sale at Saks Fifth Avenue. So let's take a look at what that would look like if we were to add this to our bag and check out. So we can't use that coupon code of 25% off, but let's take a look if we checked out. So estimated shipping is $9.95. So this we're getting essentially this item for free, right? So if I had Amazon Prime, I would get it for free shipping, but then again, I'd have to spend 50, whatever it is. I think it's like $10 or $15 per month. I get the yearly version, so I don't really know that monthly. But this one is $60, not including tax, but we'd have to pay tax on either. So shipping of $9.95 to get to my address. So honestly, so this credit here, if kitchen supplies is something you need, right? So my wife is not really a fan of those plastic storage containers because she's really kind of trying to pivot a little bit more towards glass, removing as much access to microplastics as we can. And so this is something. So I can essentially, with this credit, I can get something that I would have gotten for $50 on Amazon, and I can get it for $10 with this credit. So you can get value, right? But you can't value it at the full amount, right? So it is saving me $50, but I am having to spend $10 to save that money. So the best case scenario here is you find something that's on sale that actually is the same price as what you would pay for it somewhere else, and so you're able to at least get, say, $40 of that credit every 6 months. And so this is kind of the best case scenario. But let's keep kind of tinkering around and see what other options we have on sale. So now we have some Staub ceramic two-piece rectangular baking dish sets. Those are on sale for $59.99. Let's take a look at this. So we're going to go ahead and look at this. So that's also there. So let's take a look here. Now Made In has some. It looks like, okay, so Saks is actually, there's Crate and Barrel has it for the same price. And so that is kind of a big deal. And so Crate and Barrel, it has it for about the same price. It looks like Target has it for the same price. Sur La Table has it for the same price, right? So this is the price of that goods. Now, if you Crate and Barrel, if you try to buy it through Crate and Barrel, they probably will have shipping, right? So let's take a look here. It's on special, so add to cart. And actually, they have free shipping. Okay. So it says that they actually ships free to my zip code. So that's okay. So you're still going to pay a little bit more money for the honor of buying it through this. So it's the exact same price as how you could get it other places now that it's on sale. But oh yeah, so free standard shipping on $300 plus use code free ship. So if we're buying a lot of it, then that can help. But honestly, I just say spend this $10 for the shipping and then just use it to get that thing. Now it seems to be that kitchen goods is kind of the sweet spot for Saks here. So now you have these Zwilling ceramic nonstick frying pans. Now clothing is kind of hit or miss, right? It's going to be difficult. However, there are some interesting things. So this is Polo Ralph Lauren. And this is the twill flat front shorts. They're regularly on sale for about this much at Macy's. Let's see if they have it in my size. They don't, but we're going to pretend that this is my size, and we're going to add it to our bag. And we're going to go ahead and check out. Now we want to make sure that we're removing this, and that shipping is still $9.95. Now let's take a look at stretch twill. Okay, I'm going to polo shorts. So we're going to take a look at these shorts. So if you go, so you go to Book Brothers, Macy's. So they have these for $50 off of on different colors. It looks like. Oh, so that's a different short entirely. So I think we were looking at, where were we looking at? We don't need Crate and Barrel anymore. So we were looking at the twill flat front shorts. So let's take a look if we have those. I'm trying to make sure that we're comparing those things together. So let's go directly to the source. Okay, so if you were to book this directly, so it looks like a 7-inch relaxed fit pleated twill short. So I think that's probably the closest one that I can see to what we were actually dealing with. You can see that that actually was on sale for $119 for certain colors. So this is actually going to be a little bit better because it's on sale. And so that might be That could be interesting, right? So $70. Now you're still paying that $10 in shipping, but honestly, that was really isn't that crazy, at least from my perspective. So that's an option as well. So you have to take a look at the sales, and it has to be something that you arguably already buy, right? So I'm not going to be buying this dress anytime soon. I'm also not going to be buying Valentino shoes, right? So, but they do have certain things for regular everyday people, and it definitely can be kind of more towards the cooking, but also men's. They have some decent things. Let's take a look here at some other options. So let's take a look at jewelry. So jewelry is kind of expensive. You can see there's not really a lot of good options. There's not even really a lot of good things that are on sale, though 25% off of this, $470. What is that, a bracelet? That looks interesting. But yeah, so the jewelry probably not going to be the best option. Let's take a look at accessories. So if I were to look at, do they have men's accessories? I don't think they have. This is women's. And so let's take a look at men's accessories, grooming and cologne. We could do that. So if we don't take a look at cologne, could be another option. Some of these are pretty expensive, but this is standard department store fare, honestly. So you could take a look and see if any of this stuff was on sale. And then you could also, let's take a look at soap. Let's see if they have any soap. I know that every once in a while, they have Aesop soap, which is actually on, present at the Waldorf Astoria and things like that. So this could be an option. If you wanted to try to get $50 soaps. You can also get Aqua de Parma hand soap for $100 if you're interested. But yeah, you could also get a bar of soap or something and feel really fancy in your shower. And so you could possibly do that. But there's also the home thing. I think is probably going to be the biggest deal here. So they do have the crazy things like that, but they do have more down to home, like we talked about. They have some books. They have a stone butterfly for some reason. They have mortar and pestle. They have some oval baking dishes. So, and glassware isn't really terribly expensive for what it is. So yeah, so you have to kind of pick and choose. Let's take a look at men's accessories. Let's do wallets. So some of these wallets are kind of stupid. Right. So Tom Ford, you're literally just paying $360 for the Tom Ford lettering on there because they probably just took it from the exact same thing that, you get on Amazon. But so there's not really a lot of good options here either. So let's take a look and see if we can kind of scale down our things in. Let's take a look at sales for accessories. Okay, yeah, men's sale. All right, so yeah, so we have some options here with sweaters. You get pretty cheap, or well, relatively cheap. Yeah, let's take a look at grooming and cologne here. So these are sale items. So we can see if you want Dior, there's some options. So again, these are kind of stupid expensive. And so if you're not going to use this already, that's kind of where we're looking at. So we want to make sure that we're looking at the home sale options just because that's going to be where the butter is, right? That's going to be where the sweet spots are. So that's going to be important to note. So yeah, there we go. We can actually say specifically the home in sales. And so there are some options. You can do some infusion candles. So vacuum set could be interesting. Let's see, some kniving. Some knives could be good for that brand. The Toomey suitcases, honestly, not terribly priced for what they are. But yeah, so we're pretty much looking at kitchen supplies. So let's actually specifically look in kitchen supplies here. So kitchen shears for $40 for Hinkles. For kitchen shares, yeah, that's going to be about as much as you pay at like Crate and Barrel or, Williams Sonoma, something like that. And so, this probably could be the best option. Now, I wouldn't want to pay $800 for a steak knife set, but that's just me and my money. Two pan set for $100, not too terribly. You can get some of these kitchen towels for $18, which honestly, not bad for kitchen towels. So there are some sweet spots here, is my point. So this really, actually, that's a really nice juicer. That's a really cool looking juicer. If you were into juicing, but yeah, but yeah. So there are a bunch of options here. So So it's kind of difficult to get value from, but if you take a look at the sales and you take a look at specifically things that you might be interested in, so some of the men's clothes are reasonable, right? So if you're looking for Polo Ralph Lauren or another kind of brand, you can get decent brands on sale and then maybe pay like $10 in shipping, which honestly isn't terrible, especially since you're getting that $50 off. And I'm gonna say off because you're not relying on getting credit for the Saks credit in order to get value from positive value from the Platinum card. That for that, you're looking at the streaming credit, you're looking at the airfare credit, the fine hotels and resorts credit, right? Those are the things that are going to get you closer to getting value for that annual fee. I view the Saks credit as kind of being icing on the top. So if I get, say, $80 of value a year from it while it's still on the card, then I consider myself to have won that battle. So, you definitely don't have to play the gift card game in order to win this. So take with it what you will. But thanks so much for joining me, guys. I really appreciate you kind of letting me talk about this. And I'll see you again online soon.